and I'm feeling kind of like my body starting to go upward.
The Shaq shit, there was no fucking guarding him. And
Who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic? He'd be the greatest of all time.
Get ready to dive into the legend of Shaquille O'Neal, a name that echoes through the annals of basketball history, standing tall at 7'2" and weighing a staggering 350 pounds. Shaq was more than just a player. He was an unstoppable force of nature. Opponents quaked at the thought of driving into the paint, knowing full well they might just collide with a human freight train. Imagine being on the court and feeling the sheer intensity of a player who could literally knock the wind out of you. He wasn't just an MVP, a champion, or a finals MVP. He was a game changer who left a lasting mark on the NBA. In this video, we're not just going to talk about stats. We're bringing you first-hand accounts from fellow NBA players who witnessed Shaq's dominance up close and personal. Get ready for some jaw-dropping stories that capture what it was really like to go head-to-head with one of the greatest centers of all time. Make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the video.
But with the Shaq shit, there was no fucking guarding him. You were not fucking with Shaq, bro. They changed how you had to construct your roster. You had to have 2 or 3 bigs just for fucking fouls. Not like good bigs. We just need bigs there. We need big bodies. If you haven't seen Wilt Chamberlain play, which none of us have, right? Like, obviously not in person, but I'm saying none of us have seen Wilt Chamberlain play. He has been the most dominant player in the history of the game of basketball, period. Not LeBron, not Steph, not Magic, MJ. Like, Shaq physically was the most dominant player we have ever seen, like maybe will ever see, because of his sheer size, athleticism, skill, footwork, hands, everything. There was no guarding him. Like, and let me be clear. They don't call fouls every single time you foul him. Like, there's times where he's going up for a dunk and you just do a flyby and you hit his wrist, and he'd be like, watch out, little fella, I'll break your wrist next time. And you're just sitting here like, if my hand was in between the rim and he was trying to dunk it, he would break my fucking wrist. That's not a lie. And there's no other player that I can think of in recent history that has that type of strength and power.
He was probably one of the only guys that not out of a timeout where it was like, can you play in the 5 and you got Shaq. I'm the double and get out guy. He catch it, I can go. Wherever I am on the floor, I raise my hand, I can double it, I can get out, I can tell you where to go on the backside. Like, I'm that guy with him. There was no guard him, man. Like, Father Time guarded Shaq. There wasn't no stopping that man, dog. Like, no. Man, the only player ever to not shoot anything outside of the paint and dominate. They put rules in, not zone, dislodging rules, like all because of him, man. Like the back down rule, like it was Charles Barkley started, but it was for him. Because if he gets you to a certain point, it's physically a wrap.
7 feet guys who were like, wow, to be that big, that strong, and that fast, it's hard to match it. Like the first time I saw Shaq in person, I says, man, number one, damn, he ugly. But then I said, to see a dude that big,
I'm ugly,
that
Chuck.
strong. Same thing with Giannis. LeBron's like that, just freak of natures. But this dude here, man, when he's aggressive and running and going to the basket, he's tough to stop.
This is the dude, though. You know what I mean? Even though you got that mentality, you know, this is that one that you really admire and respect as dominant on both ends of the court. And I used to brag to my friends a lot and say, you know, like after we played the Lakers, you know, I get to the crib and be like, yo, you seen I laid Shaq, then you know what I mean? Like, you seen Shaq try to get that and I put that thing high up off the glass on him, you know what I mean? And that gave me added confidence to myself, to whereas I felt like if I could score over Shaq, I could score over anybody.
Who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic? He'd be the greatest of all time.
If Shaq had your work ethic,
he'd be the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time by a mile.
Sure. He'd be the first to tell you that, for sure. I mean, this guy was a force like I have never seen. I mean, it was crazy. You know, a guy at that size, generally guys at that size are a little timid and they don't want to be tall. They don't want to be big. Man, this dude he did not care. He was mean. He was nasty. He was competitive. He was vindictive. I mean, yeah, I wish he was in the gym. I would have had fucking 12 rings.
Was there ever fear from a player to another player?
At the closest ever, and it wasn't directed at me, it was a different position, that I saw where maybe guys were a little bit more nervous lacing up was Shaq. Because Shaq wouldn't just, you know, go out there and outplay and dominate you statistically, like whatever. He also could potentially put you on some sort of video clip that could last a lifetime, right? So
Chris Dudley.
Right. And and by the way, Shaq, second year in the league, maybe he's in Orlando. I'm in Dallas. That was the leaner Shaq, but picks up a loose ball in the middle of the lane. I'm the closest guy to him. And even then it was, don't let this guy get layups and dunks, chop him. He starts to rise up, and I just swung down as hard as I could across both forearms, and he kept going like full strength, and I'm feeling kind of like my body starting to go upward. You're thinking like he's about to take me off the ground, and you release and let go. So that's the closest I saw, like in the locker room, the dudes that had to deal with him, maybe a little bit more nervous that night.
I want you guys to argue in the comments. Is Shaquille O'Neal the greatest center of all time? Yes or no? Because I know we got people who think Kareem is the greatest center. We got people who think Wilt, Bill Russell, Hakeem, all them boys. But I want you guys to tell me if Shaq is the greatest center of all time or not. Make sure to like and subscribe and click these other videos right quick.